Hello, how are y'all today? I'm Judith Patterson. If you're watching me on Facebook, I'm sure that you already know that. But if not, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas. And I just like to do a live video on Thursdays, see how everybody's doing, make a card, and answer any questions that you guys might have. So just as a reminder, if you are watching me live, this is Thursday, February 17th. And I can't see that you're watching me with this program that I'm using, unless you comment. So if you want to say hi, that would be awesome. Let me know that you're there. And if you're watching the replay, say hi in the comments. And I will reply to you as soon as I see it. Or if you're watching on Facebook, you can just hit hashtag replay, and that lets me know that you watched it. So I would love to hear from you if you're watching. Hey, honey. So today I was going to show you the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. And then we'll make a card using that Designer Series paper and the Catching Butterflies stamp set from Celebration. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip the camera over and we can start doing that. I did want to remind you real quick that Celebration is almost over. I think we have a little under 2 weeks left. So if there's something that you're wanting from that Celebration brochure, don't miss your chance to get that. Alright, let me flip the camera over. There we go. So this is the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. It's part of the Flowering Fields suite, which is a gorgeous suite, but the only thing that I have out of it is the Designer Series paper and my favorite thing ever, which is these brushed brass butterflies. And of course I will be using these on the card today as well because they're awesome. Okay, so this paper, isn't that pretty? These colors are gorgeous, and then the designs just really bring it over the top. So I wanted to show you the full 12 by 12 sheets. Usually I just show little samples, but I wanted to show the whole sheet this time because the designs do come across the whole sheet, and you can cut them up and use just bits and pieces of them, and that's fine. But if you do 12 by 12 scrapbooks or 12 by 12 shadow boxes, these would be great sheets to use on those. So both sides are double-sided, one with this floral print and then another one just with these inky cloudy top prints. I was going to show all of them. I love these colors here. And these are like little flowers. Let's see if that'll focus. And yep, there it is. Love these polka dots. And clouds on the other side, and then just fields of tulips. Hey Kaylee, I'm showing right now the Flowering Fields Designer Series paper and just how absolutely gorgeous all of this is. I don't even know which one of these would be my favorite. They're all so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to use the Catching Butterflies stamp set again to create today's card. The card base is Pear Pizzazz. And then I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of that Designer Series paper that I just showed you, the Flowering Fields. So that'll be the base to our card. So I'm using the Scalloped Contours dies. And I'm just going to use my little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If you use this largest die on here, then you will need the bigger Stamp Cut and Emboss machine. But since I'm using the smaller one, this one will work just fine. Okay, and then the piece inside it, it's going to fit just like that. This is 3 7/8 by 2 5/8, and in fact, so I had a slight hiccup with my microphone. It stopped working right here for a few minutes. Don't worry, it will come back. But in the meantime, I was going to show you. So I am stamping the stamp with Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm just stamping a little bit off of the cardstock there. And then, but the ruler in the upper left-hand corner, I thought that might help. I know that sometimes as stampers, numbers aren't so easy for us. So I have this little cheat ruler up in the corner so that you can see those measurements that I was talking about. Like I said, I cut this cardstock 3 7/8 by 2 5/8. So I'm hoping that that will help you out a little bit if you struggle in that area. All right, so my sound should be coming back soon, but I'm using Pear Pizzazz to stamp this sentiment on real quick. Thank you guys for being patient with me whenever I'm figuring these things out. Interesting. So I realized that y'all lost sound. I wasn't looking at that. So sorry. We use this Tuxedo Black to stamp the images, and now I'm using Pear Pizzazz to stamp the sentiment and the grass. So you can use whatever sentiment that you like. Let's see if this one works. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp this under her feet, and there's no, like I'm just being very random here. It doesn't have to be in a particular spot. And then that's all we're going to use that for. So to color her in, I'm going to use, I'm so glad that it was easy to fix that time. And I'm figuring out this microphone thing. Okay, so I'm using the watercolor pencils. This is assortment 1. And I'm going to color her skin with Calypso Coral, and I'm just going to go very lightly over her skin. Thank y'all for letting me know when the sound dropped. I'm trying to get better at keeping an eye on those messages. Sometimes I forget to look. Okay, so I'm going to color her dress with Bermuda Bay. There we go. And I'm going to color her hair with Early Espresso. So I'm just going to keep coloring her. I use Rich Razzleberry for the net, and the Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie for the butterflies. Now that she's colored, I'm going to take my blender pen, and the blender pens come in a set of 3, and I just opened at the bottom instead of the top. That's okay. It's all good. And I'm just going to blend this color in a little bit. Really like the way these blender pens just smooth all of this, all of these watercolor colors out, and they're so easy to clean up. So anytime you need to switch colors, just wipe it off on a scrap piece of paper before you switch, especially if you're going from dark to light. You don't want to mix those dark colors with those light colors. But this also works if you're purposefully mixing colors. For instance, sometimes when I color their hair, I might mix pumpkin pie with early espresso, or early espresso with cinnamon cider, just to get a few more colors in there. So I stamped an extra net. I just stamped it on a scrap piece of paper and colored it with rich raspberry. Okay, so I'm going to use my liquid glue. You could also use tear-in tape or Stampin' Seal, whatever adhesive that you like the best. I just really love the liquid glue. I'm going to use that to attach the DSP to the card base. And then I'm going to use it to attach the stamped piece onto the die cut piece. Okay, then I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals to attach this to the front of the card. Aren't those flowers pretty? And I think these butterflies look like they just belong on this card with all these flowers. I know every spring when our wildflowers bloom, we have butterflies just flitting all over the place. So I like to do this with this net. This net is so easy to fussy cut around. Doesn't take long at all. Then I'm going to glue it over the net that's already on the card. So I'm just going to add glue to this end of it. And then I'm going to get a mini Stampin' Dimensional to put right here on the tip. That way it can hang over and still be lifted up the same level as this part of the card. So that brushed brass butterfly, where have I hidden it? There it is. So I'm gonna take one of these small ones and I'm just gonna put it right here. Whoops, maybe. On her dress. I know when my girls were little, they had lots of dresses like this. Hey, Rosemary, thank you. So So I think the butterfly is the perfect touch. I'm going to pick it up so y'all can see closer how that looks. And then for the inside, I've got just another 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of basic white. And I'm going to add just an extra, it's really just a scrap of this piece of paper. It's 1/2 inch by 4 inches. So I'm going to add this to the bottom, preferably not upside down. The brass butterflies, Kaylee, those are my all-time favorite. I was going to say my favorite thing out of the new mini catalog, but I think it may be my favorite thing ever. I love butterflies, and these are just perfect. I want to add one more. This one is the larger one down here to this strip. I don't typically put embellishments inside my cards, but these lay pretty flat. So it's not going to mess it up when you're trying to close it. And it's just so much fun. I think every order I make is going to have another package of these brushed brass butterflies. That's a tongue twister, y'all, on it. Because I don't ever want to run out. And I want to put them on everything. Alright, there we go. So there's our inside. And there's the front. It's a quick and easy card. I think that blender pens and watercolor pencils are perfect for beginner stampers because you have so many colors to work with. And it doesn't cost too much to get started with those. So, do y'all have any stamping questions tonight? I'm gonna flip my camera around. Oh. So, in my drawer here, I think I have some cards from a swap that is using this paper with some other stamp sets. So let me pull those out for you real quick. And I'll flip my camera back around. And you can let me know while I'm doing this if you think of any questions. Okay. Aren't these pretty? So this one uses this Flowering Fields Designer Series paper and the Flowing Flowers stamp set on page 36. And Tammy Ackerson is who designed this card. Isn't that pretty? And this, I love this embossing folder. It's the checks and dots embossing folder. And then there's that beautiful Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. Try to do this away from the microphone so it's not too loud. This one was made by Candy Rattray. I have it upside down. And then that's both sides of that Designer Series paper with a Hello Ladybug. Oh, and she even used some polished dots. I like the bow on the back of the ladybug. That's really cute. Okay, and this one was created by Diane Alberts. It opens up like that. And it has several of the different designs from this Designer Series paper. It's also using the sentiment is from Flowing Flowers. And she used the iridescent rhinestones. I love these. I don't know that that's really coming across as good on the camera as it is in person. This ladybug, there are so many great things you can do with this little ladybug, and she's perfect with all of these flowers, just like the butterflies are. All right, so that's all I've got for you guys today. If you don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off for tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping!